My name is Tom McDonald, and I'm with Palladian, and thank you for joining us on our latest discussion of lessons from the trenches. Today is 6 or 7 or 8 minute webinar. It's a very short webinar we're having today. We would like to share our analysis of the recent Shamoon malware attack in Saudi Arabia, and we work to detect, respond, and prevent these and similar attacks. As you know, in November of 2016, the Shamoon malware created havoc in the computer systems of the General Authority of Civil Aviation in Saudi Arabia, and as well as 5 other government agencies that were badly impacted. At least that's what we know about. Data is, said to be erased from more than 1,000 computers in the Saudi's General Authority of Civil Aviation. Obviously, a large impact. So, the group malware, which is being referred to as the Shamoon, is not new to the industry. In 2012, Shamoon targeted the oil and energy sectors in Saudi Arabia. Espionage as the main motive then, and more than 35,000 machines were infected. Saudi Aramco and others were the victims in that case. It's reported that Saudi Aramco really had about 3/4 of its enterprise data damage during that. So it is the same malware with slight variations that has recently reappeared. You also see the 2016 malware, the Shamoon malware that we're going to be talking about, referred to as just by the name of one of its components, Distract. So while the intent of the perpetrators of these attacks may not be absolutely clear or agreed upon, the results and the impact they're stark, they're huge. In this case, we know that the Saudi General Authority of Civil Aviation was a key target, and we know that Shamoon has the capability to collect and extract data to the attacker's possession and or erase the data from its corporate locations. So obviously a huge impact on corporate operations. Long-protected corporate trade secrets can be lost, and our essential corporate and customer data is exposed and potentially lost. In best cases, the compromised data can be recovered to its corporate location, but it can take a significant period of time to do so. And of course, the restored data is no longer private. Trade secrets are lost to the highest bidder in these cases, or become public knowledge, and relationships with customers are badly strained. There's worse with this malware, to make it more difficult for the victim. The master boot record is deleted, so the equipment that has been attacked cannot be readily restarted, all adding to the misery of getting back into normal business operations. Now, we note in the new attacks, what we have seen here is some changes, some more sophistication. We see embedded company credentials, that is the attacked company, credentials from the attacked company, come with initial components of the malware. So this indicates that there has been a previous successful reconnaissance type attack that harvested this information. Whether this was a phishing attack or the more common attack against the victim is not known. But obviously, the attacks taking place in 2016 are stepped up from the ones that took place in 2012. All 2016 version, we see the attempt to spread throughout the victim environment via a common network file share. That's unique to 2016 as well. So what's common between 2012 and 2016 Shamoon attacks is, espionage is going on, data is being wiped, the master boot record is being destroyed, making recovery that much more difficult. Essential operations are hugely impacted. What's new is some of those new twists that we've seen took place in the attack against the Civil Aviation Authority, which was the embedded credentials, which again, I said points to successful intrusions previous to the downloading of the Shamoon suite of malware, and then specific shares, remote registry key, and scheduling tasks for malware execution as well. So some of these, how different, but what takes place? How does this work operationally? Well, most folks break this down into 3 areas, 3 stages here. The first component is called a dropper, and it creates the service with the name NTSSRV in this service, this NetServe service, remains persistent on the infected computer. It is this that is attempted to be spread across the local network and copies itself to other computers and then drops additional components on those subsequently infected computers. this is the wiper. Now, so that NTSSRV component, right? It downloads a piece of malware called distrack, and as I said, distrack is sometimes the name you hear the 2016 version of Shamoon referred to, and an additional component called the LDOS driver. Now, LDOS is from a legitimate commercial product. We saw this same piece of software being used or abused in the Sony attack a couple of years ago. It is this that enables the hard disk access to the hard disk directly from user mode without the need of Windows AIs or such. And the wiper uses the LDOS driver software to overwrite the hard disk. That is, data is gone. And then the component that we, break this as is called the reader. And this is the area that's responsible for handling all the communications with the command and control center, the command and control server, which is, of course, operated by the attackers. So transfer can take place of information back and forth to the CNC. Additional binaries get downloaded from the command and control server. We can change the pre-configured disk wiping, the resident program that's already down there. Change can be made on the fly. So the attackers can morph the suite of malware as they need as they go along. All in all, it's a pretty expert and complete kill chain that we're looking at, and one that we need to clearly be vigilant against. So what do you do? How do you check about whether you're affected by Shamoon? Well, there's many things to look at. Our threat intelligence team has released a list of indicators of compromise for detect droppers, for the communication components, for the wiper components, all those samples for both 32 and 64-bit machines. So we're looking at a lot of different things, which if they appear, it's something that raises an alert, and we look at further right away. We rolled these out across our customers and analyzing as we speak historical data to detect any cases of Shamoon and our customers. We're not sitting idly by and waiting to react. Someone calling us and saying, "I think I'm infected." So if you're one of our customers, you essentially have this vigilance in place right now. All of this can be provided by our compromise detection services that we regularly offer. So steps that we take and that you can take, you're all going to be configuring your SIM with custom-made use cases for these type of attacks. Continuous integration of threat intelligence with that. Of course, implementing dodging and prioritizing rules. That's all the need of the hour. That's all the things you have to be doing. We have these instances of attacks like this, which remind us of how important it is. So a combination of threat patterns and expert-driven analysis to monitor our customer environments for these attacks and similar attacks on an ongoing basis. But you should be doing on an ongoing basis, not putting them in place after the attack. That's essentially what we do at Palladian. If you look at our services, we're continually evaluating our security status against potential attacks, and at the same time, vigilantly detecting signs of active attacks. Things that if you've been in some of our recent webinars, in recent months, we talked about the malware that has the ability to interact with the SWIFT terminals at banks. SWIFT being the system which is used for international money transfer. And this malware actually manipulates financial transactions between banks and then goes and erases the evidence, such as transaction logs that have, and that are with output files, PDFs, etc. So, that very strong malware. Increasingly, we see malware being developed, which is targeting specific applications. Obviously, that targeted SWIFT. We see the recent attack against a specific vertical in Saudi as well. In 2012, it attacked specifically to the oil industry, petroleum industry. When verticals get attacked directly like that, we inevitably see large direct financial losses. So, look at it. It's critical for every organization to continuously look out for attack patterns, fine-tune SIM or whatever type of alerting mechanism you have in place, and respond quickly to contain and prevent such attacks. Our threat intelligence team works works around the clock in analyzing new malware, developing indicators of compromise, and quickly rolling them out across our customer environments. So breach detection experts can detect any trace of IOCs in customer environments and help you implement preventive measures to detect and respond faster. So complete coverage, complete vigilance, continual vigilance, not after an attack, but hopefully well before we identify the attack before it takes place. So very much for your time today. In case you need our assistance for breach analysis or detection in your environment, we're of course happy to discuss with you on an informal or a formal basis. You can please contact us at sales@palladian.net, and customers can reach out to our local sales team. Thank you.
Thank you much for taking this session. This is Sachin Verghese from Palladian Networks. I run marketing for the company. Thank you all for attending this. And if you have any questions, please do shoot us an email at sales@palladian.net.